Deathmatch wrestling is not meant for national television. It's brutal, it's underground, and it's usually reserved for dingy venues, filled with fans who know exactly what they signed up for. So when AEW, a mainstream wrestling company on a major cable network, decided to air a deathmatch featuring Chris Jericho and Nick Gage on Dynamite, the wrestling world had one collective response. Why is this man stabbing Chris Jericho with a pizza cutter? To set the stage, this wasn't some random exhibition. This match was part of Jericho's Labors of Jericho storyline, where MJF forced him to go through a gauntlet of brutal matches to earn a rematch. For the second labor, Jericho was thrown into the deep end with the most notorious deathmatch wrestler alive, Nick Gage. And in case you don't know who that is, let's talk about the bank-addicted drug robber himself. Nick Gage isn't just a deathmatch wrestler. He is deathmatch wrestling. A legend in the underground scene, he has bled buckets and rings across the world, gone to prison for robbing a bank without a mask, and literally died in the ring once after slicing an artery in his arm. He also nearly killed David Arquette in a deathmatch in 2018. To put it bluntly, Nick Gage does not do fake death matches. And on July 28, 2021, he brought that exact energy to AEW. And then it happened. Live on TNT, in front of over 1 million viewers, we got a real death match. The match had everything: panes of glass, light tubes, and, of course, Nick Gage slicing Jericho's forehead open with a pizza cutter. At this point, fans at home who had never seen a deathmatch before were either glued to their screens or reaching for the remote in horror. This was not your usual Wednesday night wrestling match. As if things weren't surreal enough, this match led to one of the strangest controversies in modern wrestling. At one point, as Gage was carving up Jericho's forehead with a pizza cutter, AEW cut to a commercial break, right into a Domino's ad. The timing was perfectly awful. Domino's was not amused and publicly distanced themselves from AEW, which led to a minor corporate freakout, because apparently a pizza company didn't want to be associated with a man using a pizza cutter as a weapon. It seems like more of a Little Caesars thing anyways. Jericho ultimately won the match, but the bigger story was what it represented. For one night, deathmatch wrestling, usually reserved for dimly lit VFW halls and underground promotions, was given the bright lights of national TV. It was shocking, it was divisive, and it was undeniably unforgettable. Whether you loved it or hated it, it proved one thing: wrestling will always find new ways to surprise us. This match was a reminder that wrestling is, at its best, completely unhinged. One moment, you're watching a former world champion fight his way through a classic storyline. The next, you're watching Nick Gage smash panes of glass over his head on live TV. It was wild, it was bloody, and it was the kind of chaos that makes pro wrestling impossible to look away from. For more deep dives into wrestling's weirdest moments, please subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like this video.